Well, good morning. This is Chaplain William Johnson, the Reverend Dr. William Johnson, here for our morning meditation. It is with great pleasure that I offer this version or this iteration of our meditation. It is a joy always to do this, and so we are here together during the last month of the year to be able to say to you that you are loved, appreciated, and are irreplaceable. As often as we're able to share in these messages, we want to know and want to make sure you know that you're precious to us and you're important as we share them. They're intended to inspire and encourage you along the way. Today's meditation is entitled If. If. I am aware that we are during the holiday season. Often people are running and going and maybe have a moment to sit down and watch a television show or movie, sometimes encased around the holidays. One of my favorites is It's a Wonderful Life, Jimmy Stewart's rendition and presentation of a young man who finds himself questioning what it would be like for him not to have been in the world. Uh, Life is hard for him. He's gone through many difficulties. Family is in disarray. Finances are in trouble. He is not feeling like he is living up to what it is he's been called to do in the world. In fact, he feels like he's a failure. And he wonders to himself as he stands on a bridge what it would be like if he were not there. And so an angel, a guardian angel, comes to show him what life would be like without him. And from the gist of the story, throughout the story, it's a very old story, is one of my favorites during Christmas time. To be able to remember and ask ourselves a reflective question, what would life be like without us? Now, many of us don't want to even engage in such thought, but I want you to know because you are who you are, loved, appreciated, and irreplaceable, it's important to have the questions in your head about not only what life would look like without you, but maybe perhaps what would life look like without the people around you, or especially what would life be like if God or your creator were not present or moving in your life. Well, I think the scripture for that we've chosen for this morning is especially telling. It is one of my favorites as well, is the 124th Psalm. And in that psalm, the psalmist writes and poses a question through a song. And he says to all, if it had not been for the Lord on our side, and then he invites the collective, all of Israel, to say the same thing. If it had not been for the Lord on our side, it is one of those questions that should be rhetorical, but I think you should take it a step further and write down a list as you close out this year in 2021 of what would have happened if God or your creator or whatever you call God or whatever you call your creator or your being had not been on your side, if things had not worked out the way you needed them to. Uh, the psalmist says that we would have been swallowed up, we would have been destroyed, we wouldn't have made it. And I think it's important for us to take a moment of accounting, especially at the end of the year, to think about the things that would have happened to us if God had not intervened. I know many of us spend a lot of time complaining about or frustrated about life and the things that did not work out and the doors that did not open and the broken hearts we've experienced or the bad news we've heard or the loss of loved ones, and we're still grieving over those things. I mean, life has not been perfect, nor has it been everything we had wanted it to be. But when you get to this place in life and at a moment in life, we ought to, I express, have some reflection and think, what if God had not shown up? I mean, really. And I don't mean holding back tragedy, because tragedy happens to everyone. And I'm not saying that all of us have had an easy road. Some of us have been broken and hurt and have experiences that have been more than we could bear. However, think of it this way. Even though all of that has happened, we're here with this ability to ask the question. And so I thought of myself, I wrote down some notes for myself, and I thought about it, and I said, well, anyone who's able to speak to such a thing, to be able to form such a question, if it had not been for the Lord on our side, if it had not been for the Lord on my side, I'll make it personal, then I realized that it marks my life in a different way. It changes the way I see things. It changes the way I go about my day, because I'm aware that I didn't have any right or any privilege or anything that would warrant that I would have a right to the moments that I'm experiencing now. It's a life, first of all, I think, marked by gratitude. Yeah. When you ask the question, if, it means that you're asking a question that is marked by gratitude, at least according to the psalmist here. It is one of those terms that says clearly, I'm aware that I didn't necessarily have to be in the position I'm in now. Now, I have a good friend that says this all the time. I have to do this. I have to work. I have to go to this occasion, this meeting. I have to do this or I have to do that. And it seems like it's the way we keep our list about chores and responsibilities. But what if you change that language and no longer say, I have to do this, but I get to do this. Yeah, I get to go to work. I get to call my family. I get to pick up my kids from school. I get to be able to pay a bill. I get to have a chance to be able to spend some time with my mom. I get to be able to spend time with my father. For those of us going through the holidays, we recognize that there are many who don't have such a privilege, but we know that it is a privilege, and our lives are marked by gratitude. I'm grateful for the moments, however brief they may be, that I have with loved ones that mean so much to me. I'm grateful for the privilege of walking into the hospital, aware of all that is happening for others who may not have that privilege. I am grateful for the opportunity to talk with people and for them to invite me in to the most sacred moments of their lives. I am grateful for all of those things because my life is marked by gratitude. But also, this life that the psalmist records is also not only marked by gratitude, but it's marked by grace. Yeah, grace is a different thing. Grace is that thing which means that we have unmerited favor. There are things that have happened to us that we did not earn, that we did not find that we had put in the work for, but we got a bonus on it. It's kind of like, getting the hookup from some places that you didn't expect to. You go to get donuts and you get 13 instead of 12 when you ordered only a dozen. You go to buy flowers, as Gregory Porter says in one of his songs, there will be no love dying here. When others may see a wilting 4 roses, they didn't know that you only paid for 3 and someone gave you an extra one. It means that you get a chance to see grace in your life. You look at life through eyeglasses that are filled with grace. Not because I deserved it or someone owed it to me or I'm entitled, but because somehow I have made it to this place and enjoying life each day, waking up each morning knowing that I didn't fulfill everything I should have yesterday, but today I get another chance at it. That is a life marked by grace. Finally, I share this because I think it's important. When we ask the question, if, in the spirit of the psalmist, that says, if the Lord had not been on our side, it's if and not don't seem to go together. But if the Lord had not been on our side, if God had not been in your room, if God had not been in the car with you as you were driving to work, if God had not looked after your children, if God had not helped put food on the table, if God had not awakened you for the new day. For many of us, we have sung this song in our church environments and said, if it had not been for the Lord on our side, where would I be? Well, I say, if it had not been for the Lord on our side, it reminds me that my life is marked by giving, not by getting. And that is what I want to leave you with during this holiday season. One who thinks of if in a way that changes our perspective says that I am here not just to get, but to give. If it had not been for the Lord on our side, and the call for all of Israel to join in a chorus. If it had not been for the Lord on our side, and he accounts for all the things that would have happened, our enemies would have destroyed us. We would have been swallowed up by their anger. We would have been overwhelmed by their fierceness and what they had offered. When I think of this time last year, as we were approaching a new year, we had the events of January 6th, and at a time when our democracy was at jeopardy, and we were worried of whether or not we would still hold a republic, therein we wondered if we would make it. And as a nation, we can say, if it had not been for the Lord on our side, we would have recounted all the things that could have happened that we would not have wanted to happen. That is what I mean. It is a life that says, in response to those things that could have happened, I'm willing to give rather than just to take. I'm willing to love rather than to look to find someone to pull that back in and serve myself. It means that I'm going beyond the pale. Well, I like this song because it cheers me up along the way, because it speaks of a people who can look back from where they've come. At the end of the year, here we are, once more, almost our last Monday of the new year. And here we of the old year, and looking forward to the new year, I mean. And here we are looking around saying, wow, if it had not been for the Lord on our side, what would you fill in the blank with? I invite you to write at least 10 things that you remember or you think of if God had not been on your side. Yes, and I'm speaking of God, whatever you want to call God, but I know for myself, if it had not been for God being on my side, things would have been a lot different than they are now. You know, we've grieved, who would have comforted me? We've lost, who would have restored me? If I've been broken, who would have repaired me? Those things in my life that God sent, friends along the way, colleagues to stand up with me, a future ahead of me, a job that I get a chance to work and that I love. All those things that we do with one another, as we remind ourselves of it, write those lists down and share it with someone that you love. Thank you so much. I want you to know that you're loved, appreciated, and you're irreplaceable. And the purpose for our sharing these messages are to encourage and inspire. Share it with someone else. We hope that these messages mean something to you. Give us your feedback. You can always reach us back at william.johnson@bjc.org. We appreciate everything that you share, and we appreciate your feedback to make this a better support for you. Thanks so much.